You know, last week we read about the inauguration of the Mishkan, how every one of the Nisim had brought gifts and korbanos to inaugurate the Mishkan. Started with, first one was Nachshon ben Aminadab of the tribe of Yehuda, the son of Ben Tzuar from the tribe of Yisachar, then the tribe of Zvulun, and they brought these gifts. And we know the Torah is very careful in terms of there's no repetition in the Torah. There's not even an extra letter in the Torah. And here the Torah repeats verbatim the identical gifts 12 times. On the first day, on the second day, through 12. And the script is the identical script. The only difference is the person and the day and the tribe. Why all this repetition? So the Ramban explains that although in the physical sense, each of the gifts were identical, but each shevet, each tribe, has another representation in terms of their spirituality, what they represent in terms of their contribution to Klal Yisrael. Each one has a very unique spiritual profile, and that spiritual profile contributes to the totality of Klal Yisrael, and each one of the tribes complement one another. The totality is Klal Yisrael, with Bnei Yisrael. So since each shevet, each Nasi, who's the leader of his tribe, infused the gift with the kavanah, with the intent, which represented what he represented in terms of his contribution to the total spirituality of Klal Yisrael, therefore, although physically they were identical, but in their reality, in terms of their representation, one had no relevance to the other. So although superficially it seems to be repetitive, it's not. Each one has no relevance to the other. Therefore, it's not considered being repetitive, but rather each one is unique in its own right. Now, the Torah now juxtaposes the lighting of the menorah to the inauguration, the gifts that were brought by the Nisim. Now, what relevance does the lighting of the menorah have to that? First, the lighting of the menorah was the daily ritual that the Kohen had to do. Like the Kohen has to bring communal offerings every day. The morning, Tomer Shel Shach, Tomer Shel Bein Arbayim, identically, the menorah has to be lit every day. So if that's the case, what is the value of the juxtaposition between the lighting of the menorah and the inauguration of the Mishkan? So Rashi cites Chazal, it's a Medrash Tanchuma. Loma nischo parshas ha-menorah leparshas ha-nesiim. What is there juxtapose the portion of the lighting of menorah to the portion of the nesiim? V'kshevro Aaron chanukas ha-nesiim. When Aaron had seen the contribution of the nesiim inaugurating the Mishkan, cholshos daito shlo imon b'chanukah. He was a little insulted or taken aback that he was not included to inaugurate the Mishkan. If you take a look in the Ramban, initially Moshe Rabbeinu, when they offered it, he rejected it. He would not take it. Why didn't he take it initially? Because Aaron was not part of the group. So he felt there was a certain degree of shlo lishma. They weren't doing it for the sake of God. Because if they would have been doing it purely, selflessly, for Hashem, they would have included Shevet Levi. Why was the Shevet Levi included? Evidently, there may be a problem. Hashem says, no, you take it, it's not a problem. They bring it totally for the sake of Hashem, Lishma, it's not a problem. So that, when Moshe heard that, he took it. But now the question is, but Aaron was not included. So if Hashem embraced their gift, evidently reflected poorly on Aaron. So why did he say Aaron should be included? So Aaron was disqualified, seemingly. So evidently, why would he be disqualified? Evidently because of the Chet Egel. Because of his participation in the Chet Egel, that he wasn't worthy. Meaning he's not a good representative of Shevet Levi. Therefore, it's Chol Shadaito. Lohu v'lo Shifto. Not he, wasn't included, or the Shevet, which he represented, which is Levi. Omal HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem says to him, Chayecho, I swear on your life, Shelcho Gdol V'Shalem. Your participation is greater than theirs. Sha'atov Madlik Umeitav V'Saneris. You kindle and you prepare the lights for kindling. Therefore, your participation is greater than theirs. That was the response. Now, let's understand, and this is the Ramban's question. What is the lighting of menorah? It's a daily ritual. Like one has to bring the communal offerings, you have to light the menorah every day. So if that's the case, why was this somehow a consolation to Aaron? Factually, he was not involved in the inauguration of the Mishkan. Secondly, if this is sufficient, the lighting of menorah, what about going into the Holy of Holies in Yom Kippur? Among all the Kohanim, the only ones qualified to go into the Kodesh Kadoshim is only the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur. Through him, the atonement for all Klal Yisrael comes. All the brocha comes through the Kohen Gadol throughout the year, through bring about that level of atonement. So why is it Chol Shodaito? Why was he somehow felt put off or cast away, that he felt not worthy and reflected badly on him? He's the ultimate. He still qualifies to go into the Kodesh Kadoshim. This is the Ramban's question. So Ramban cites a midrash that it's not going on the lighting of the menorah in the Mishkan. It's going on, it's referring to lighting of Hanukkah Nerus. That when the base of English will be desecrated by the Greeks, it'll be reinstated through the lighting of the menorah with the oil, and therefore all homes will always commemorate the miracle through the lighting of the menorah in one's house. That's the Ramban. But seemingly it doesn't really fit with the medrash which Rashi is bringing, with medrash Tanchuma. So how are we going to address the question of the Ramban? Avrami, you haven't been here for a while. Maybe you have something to say. Avrami has been working on this since last year. I do. I get a smile on this one.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah, good. And now Ernie Nachi's a Levi, so he's jumping into the fray.
Okay, no, I think the Rebbe just answered something that has been on my mind for a while. I have letters that my grandfather wrote to my father when he was learning in there, and my father, he mentions the episode that he was at. My father was at the Levaya, the Chavetz Chaim, and many letters, my grandfather writes back, I'm Makani, and he says, even though you're not supposed to be Makana, but for something like this, you can be Makana. So now the way the Rebbe's typing up the Kol Shel Libo, so it's explaining me, I understand a little better.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Gemara says in Bava Basra, which is the Gemara I'm going to quote now, it says, Kina Sofrim Tar B'Chochma. Kina Sofrim Tar B'Chochma. That this envy among Talmidei Chachamim increases Chochma. Normally there's a halacha, it's called Hasogas Gvul. If you have one town which can only support one enterprise, and another person brings another business into the community, it can't support both, the second person is not permitted to open shop. It's called Hasogas Gvul, because one person is going to put the other person out of business. But let's say a person has a yeshiva, or a cheder, or any Torah institution in the community, you can bring as many as you want. Why? Because the ultimate objective of Torah is to get the best. So that challenge, who's going to offer the best education, will only be an impetus, an incentive. They should upgrade the quality of the Torah. Kinas Sofer Tar B'Chochma. Kinas Sofer over there doesn't mean envy, which has that negative connotation. I'm envious. Because we want to provide the best, it's what? This is competition. Being competitive. I will provide better than you. You think you could provide better? I will provide better. I can do better than you. So it's not that I'm envious of you. So the same thing, when your grandfather said he's Mekanim, he wishes he could have been there. That's all it means. That your father had the schus to be there and he couldn't be there. It's that we find the same thing by Rochel and Leah. It says, Vatikani Rochel Beleah. She was Mekanar, that she had children, she didn't have children. But Rachel Imeinu, who's the main matriarch, she's Mekana. To use that term, so Rashi says over there, she envied her good deeds, that she wished she could have been a tzadekis the way her sister Leah was, because her sister merited to have children, she didn't have children. That's how Rashi, but also the Torah uses the word Vatikane, Rachel Beleah Chosa. So getting back to this, so the Gemara says in Bava Basra, Misha Rotze Lahachkim Yadrim, that if you want to merit wisdom, when you say the Shemona Esrei, the Amidah, you should say it in a southerly direction. Misha Rotze Lahashir Yatzpin. You want to become wealthy, Ernie, this is the trick. No problem with insurance companies. Rotze Lahashir Yatzpin, northerly direction. Why? Because the menorah was on the southern wall of the covered sanctuary, and the shulchan, the golden table with the showbread, was on the northern wall. The golden table, that's shulchan malochim. That represents royalty. Royalty is wealth. Light is what? That's Torah. That's wisdom. Ner mitzvah Torah or. So if you want to merit wisdom, you should go say the Shmoneh in a southerly direction. All the siyata d'shmaya for Torah, for Klal Yisrael, comes through the lighting of menorah. So therefore, what is the spiritual profile of Klal Yisrael? The spiritual profile of Klal Yisrael of the 12 Shvatim. Their contribution, each one infusing his gift with his profile, his spiritual representation, that is what we call Tzuras Klal Yisrael. That's the spiritual profile of Klal Yisrael. Each shaver representing what Klal Yisrael is, what the Jewish people are. What's the Nishmas Yisrael? What's the Neshama? What's the soul? What's the heartbeat of the Jewish people? That's the Torah. Who infuses that entity with its soul? That's Aaron. The lighting of menorah activates all the forces that gives us relevance to Torah to make us a thriving, functioning entity. You can have the most perfect body, if there's no soul, it's irrelevant, has no value. So what brings that continuous life source into this entity? That's the lighting of menorah. Therefore, that's what Hashem says, Shelcho Gedolim Shelahem. Your contribution is greater than theirs. They created the spiritual profile, but who infuses it with life? That's you, because you activate that siyata d'shmaya, those forces which continually flow come through the lighting of menorah.